Hi, and welcome to Tim and Joel's Weekly Draw. Joel,
Yes,
from
Tim.
Chelsea Green's debut to Leon Ruff winning the North American Championship, how good do you think this week's going to be?
All right. Are you ready for this one?
Okay,
I don't think you're ready.
I'm going to try.
It's Giannis from the Milwaukee Bucks wearing a slapjack mask going to practice.
Is that real? Is that a thing?
It's a thing. It's on Twitter.
God. Oh my
It must
God.
be real.
I'll have to check that out. That sounds perfect. That sounds like just about the week we can expect coming up.
That's right. And you can check out T-Bar's Twitter for all that. It's fun. Speaking of fun, we got a full week going on for wrestling. It's not a pay-per-view week, so we don't have predictions. That's going to be next week when we do our Survivor Series predictions. That'll be good. But for now, on Raw, this Monday, we have two big championship matches, don't we, Tim?
Two big ones. Raw might actually be real good this week.
That's right. Well, let's start it off. For the Raw Tag Team Championships, you have the New Day, who are the champions, taking on the Hurt Business. That's a team of Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Tim, for the last few weeks, you've been harping on it. You're waiting for the Hurt Business to take over shop for the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Make it so, please. Please make it so.
You know what? As great as New Day versus the Street Profits would be, I think it's meant for a bigger stage, and we've been saying that for weeks. So for now, I think we can expect the New Day to drop their tag titles to the Hurt Business, especially if there's a second, bigger championship match on the card for Monday, and that is for the WWE Championship. Randy Orton, the champion, takes on Drew McIntyre, the challenger. Drew McIntyre, who showed up on Smackdown this past Friday to confront Roman Reigns about a potential match, and instead got an unsanctioned match with Jey Uso. So
yeah,
tell me a bit about that, Tim.
I don't know. I like it. I like that move because it's either a misdirect where they expect us to expect Drew to win and Randy retains, or there's the real possibility that Drew takes the championship from Randy back this week. So
now,
I'm excited.
Drew versus Roman has happened before.
Yeah.
It's happened at WrestleMania before, at WrestleMania 35, but it was a totally different match. You know, Drew was the bad guy, Roman was the good guy, and it was right at the height of no more Roman, and that sentiment since changed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was fully on this. I don't remember this match at all. I was fully on the side of I don't care about Roman Reigns back then. So
that WrestleMania was also the one where a bunch of matches between the middle and the end had to be like 2-minute matches because something went really long.
Yeah, wasn't that like the 7-hour WrestleMania?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I remember eating Popeyes waiting for the show to end. Like, it was awful. So no wonder I don't remember this one.
What was your Popeyes order?
Oh, I don't know. It was way too much. It was like $40-$50 worth. It was me and a buddy, and we're just lethargic on the couch watching WrestleMania, hating most of it.
Well, I wouldn't hate Roman versus Randy, but much like your Popeyes intake, it would be slow, it would be plotting, and maybe even full of interference.
Yeah, probably.
Speaking of interference, I have a feeling the Fiend is lurking in the shadows. Could he cost Drew or Randy the match on Monday, do you think?
It's very possible. Like, they could absolutely have the Fiend run in, interrupt him. Then Randy Fiend, I would be okay with. No title. Like, I think that would be good. They've got enough to build on with the old Shaq burn. So,
but Tim, don't forget about the Miz, Mr. Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Well, people are clamoring for the Miz to cash in on Monday after the main event.
Maybe if
the Fiend gets involved.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I don't want to see the Miz versus Roman Reigns, but
you run into some weird territory if you do Miz versus Reigns, because Reigns is very much the bad guy. Miz is very much the bad guy, but two very different bad guys. Yeah, one is very chicken shit. The other one is very on you, but will take any opportunity to win. There, you can't really tell much of a story there without someone being good.
It would be weird. It would be so weird. And obviously it would have to be Miz at this point because serious bad guy trumps like cartoon bad guy. So
let me tell you what I want. What I really, really want.
All right, let's hear it. Let's see what's going to happen.
I want on Sunday, I want the Miz to cash in after Randy loses the match to Roman. The Fiend interferes, costs Randy the match. Roman will just walk away because he doesn't give a damn. He won the match. And then we get Miz as the new WWE champion taking on Randy Orton and probably Drew McIntyre at TLC. Maybe you can add The Fiend there, but honestly, I don't want to see The Fiend in a TLC match. So we could always do Randy versus The Fiend and then Miz versus Drew.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds awesome. Or like have The Fiend cost Randy the triple threat, the TLC, right?
Yep.
Like
There's
that
a
would
good
be
opportunity.
awesome. I would love to see that. God damn, that's really good.
Well, we'll find out on Monday, and then we'll find out at Survivor Series, won't we?
Yeah. I don't know, and maybe I'll clandestinely send this to WWE Creative.
Wonderful. I am ready to be hired.
Yeah.
Let's move on to AEW Dynamite, shall we?
Let's.
It's a good card ahead. Tony Khan is going to shift the balance of power in wrestling or something, so I've been told. Orange Cassidy is going to take on Kip Sabian. Sure, why not? Orange Cassidy's coming off a big win at Full Gear. Kip Sabian's coming off slapping Orange Cassidy after a big match at Full Gear in a post segment. What do you think? Good match? Good match? Not good match?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Kip. Like, no, it hasn't. Probably bad match.
Wonderful. Expect the best man and Trent and Chucky T.
They're all going to interfere. Yeah, it's going to be meh. I'm not too excited about that.
What will not be met is Pac taking on The Blade. Pac made his return this past Wednesday on Dynamite, stirring up the pot versus Eddie Kingston. And actually, that match had just ended. It was between Penta and Rey Fenix. Now, here's what's interesting about that. As Pac was coming to the ring, or at least just before the announcement, Eddie Kingston kind of congratulated Penta and then subtly kicked Phoenix out of the ring, if you noticed.
Oh, yeah.
So it's looking like Pac might have to run his way through the family to get to Eddie Kingston. And I'm not against that. But I also think that we're going to see maybe a tag team match down the line. Maybe we'll see Kingston and Penta taking on Pac and Phoenix.
Yeah, it seems like they might be going towards breaking up Lucha Brothers. So we'll see. And there's a few ways they could take this, right? Like both the Lucha Brothers could be like, no, family before, this family. And then they side with Pac because they were Death Triangle, right?
Yes, sir.
So they could just all come together and then 3v3. I think it'd be really good. I'm excited to see where they take this. I think this is one of the better storylines that AEW has to deal with right now, and I would love to watch like Pac walk his way through every member of that family. Even if ultimately two of them come to his side, I want to see all the matches. Maybe even him and Ray just gets real fed up with the lack of support.
Oh, I'm into that.
Yeah. Right.
The Blade, meanwhile, he's looking to stop Pac in his tracks and create some space in the singles division. Any chance of maybe Butcher and Blade not necessarily splitting up, but being those single stars that also become tag stars?
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. They're both like, big bruisers. So I think it'd be great to see either of them kind of step out here and there. I do like them as a team, so I don't want them to like split them. But yeah, it'd be really good to see them kind of shine a little bit. I do fully expect Pac to go over the Blade here, so I don't know if that's really what's in the works, but it's going to be a fun ride. Hopefully they don't bleed too much this week.
Well, speaking of fun rides and tag team action, we have non-title action in the AEW tag team division. The Young Bucks, who are the AEW tag team champions, are going to take on Top Flight in a match that was originally announced for last week's Dynamite, but it was moved to this week's Dynamite. So for those who don't know Top Flight, they're young, they're new, they're dynamic, but they're green. And last week's episode of Dynamite was live, and this week's episode of Dynamite is pre-taped. So take that information as you will. But you can expect some high-flying, fast-paced action. And since it's non-titled, the results are up in the air. It's not the first time the Young Bucks have put over a young, up-and-coming team in AEW. So, Tim, what do you think?
True. Okay, so I don't know a whole lot about Top Flight. Like, they're coming out of nowhere for me. Do you know like who they are, what they've done before?
I don't know enough about Top Flight. I know I once upon a time did my research and I don't have it anymore.
That's funny. So I'm not sure who they are. I'm excited to find out. Hopefully they're really amazing to be kind of given this opportunity. So
Well, if they're put into a non-title match versus the champions, it's going to be something special. So
Yep.
it's going to be worth checking out. Worth checking out also is going to be Cody and Darby Allin taking on Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. Darby Allin, of course, TNT champion after Full Gear, and Brian Cage is the FTW champion, whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Will Hobbs has got to be lurking somewhere, right, Tim?
Yeah, he'll come up after the match is already over with a chair. He'll smack it on the ground once, and the team Taz will run away.
Is it time for Will Hobbs to make a decision?
Hell yeah, it is.
Taz?
Oh my god. Like that what I've been thinking is like, is this what AEW thinks long-term storytelling is? Because like you can't just drag it out over weeks and say that it's long-term storytelling. Like, I don't care what decision he makes at this point. Just make a bloody decision. It's clearly like, it looks like he's not going to choose Team Taz. So just tell them like, no, and then hit one with a chair.
You have potentially 3 people that could take on Darby Allin for the TNT championship. So from there, thinking about Cody, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and potentially Will Hobbs, who do you pick next to take on Darby Allin for that TNT title?
I mean, I'd be fine with either Brian Cage or Will Hobbs. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Ricky Starks, and I can't tell if that's just because I hate his gimmick or don't love his wrestling. He's a good heel. Like, I really, really don't like him. I do like Brian Cage, though, and I like watching him in the ring, especially to be able to watch him in ring with someone as light as Darby Allin. He can throw him around like crazy, and Darby will take the bumps, right? So I think that would be really fun to watch. So that's kind of where I'm leaning, but I'd be fine with Will Hobbs as well if he does choose to turn heel, just because I like him and I think he should get some more TV time. So
yeah, I think we're both in agreement that Cody can move on to something else. Maybe maybe he can take on a big shakaroni pizza or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Shaq will try to wrestle. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, you know who's going to wrestle real well, and hopefully not at 9:30 Eastern in the death slot. It's going to be Serena Deeb, the NWA Women's World Champion, taking on Thunder Rosa in a match for that very championship. This is Deeb's 3rd defense. She had her last against Allysin Kay at the buy-in before Full Gear. And of course, Thunder Rosa appeared after the match, and she's on the warpath to reclaim that NWA Women's World Championship. These two can put on a spectacle. Give them 20 minutes. Don't put them on at 9:30. Let them even main event. I don't care. I don't want to have to put up that tweet that says, see you at 9:30, and then have to retweet it and say, told you so, because I'm sick of it.
Yeah. This feels so quick for this too. Like, I mean, again, it's not their title. It's the NWA's bloody title. Although we're seeing more of it than we are there, like the actual AEW women's title. Yeah, give them the opportunity to make this really, really awesome, because there's no build for this match. It's just all of a sudden happening. And both of these women are so talented. Like, give them the opportunity to put on, as Joel said, a spectacle. It has the potential to be the best match of the whole night.
This match is high potential, and that title is becoming the TNT Women's Championship.
I straight up care more about it already.
Yeah. There's more stories told with that title.
Yeah. Without any actual story. Like,
yep.
And I'm a story guy. Like, that's what I kind of live and breathe in wrestling. And for these women to be making this as interesting as it is, with just like something they could do at an indie, is awesome. Like, if I were sitting in a church basement right now, I'd be elated. So
yeah. Well, you know what's going to make me feel very elated is going to be on the other side of things, NXT. There's only really 2 segments announced, one a match, and that is first for the NXT Women's Championship. Io Shirai, the champion, takes on Rhea Ripley. Io Shirai has been on a tear. She has taken on and defeated all comers for the title. Ripley is on a redemption. And is that on the Monday? Is that on the menu for Wednesday?
Like, yeah, this match is going to be great. What NXT does so well is just create these fierce female competitors. Like, they create wrestlers like nobody's business right now. And I'm so over for these 2 women. I can't wait to see this. Yeah.
You can expect that match to main event, or it's going to open the show, because if it doesn't main event, that's because Finn Balor is going to be addressing the NXT Championship and the NXT audience as to what's been going on, because it has been several weeks since the NXT champion has been shown on NXT TV, stemming from the broken jaw that he received back at TakeOver 31 in his match versus Kyle O'Reilly. Now, here's the thing. NXT did not want to take the title off of the Prince due to the hot potatoing of that NXT title.
No kidding.
You had Keith Lee winning the title at the Great American Bash in July, followed by Karrion Kross defeating Keith Lee at TakeOver 30 in August, immediately vacating the title due to injury, and Balor winning the title 2 weeks later, only to go down with injury in his first defense versus Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, I can see them wanting to hold on to it, especially since it seemed pretty promising that Finn wouldn't be out too long, but we'll see, man.
So you can expect Balor to announce his return and maybe set up his next opponent.
Yeah.
And my only question is, how is Tommaso Ciampa feeling these days?
Oh, that would be so good. I want that. Like the promo he cut last week about being the grizzled veteran, it was just like, things have changed. Things have changed. I'm about to change them back. That was so good. I love it. I love him. I want to see that feud really bad.
That was a really good Jake the Snake Roberts impersonation.
Yeah, I know. I can't do Ciampa.
All right, we have some expectations as well coming to NXT this week. With the Undisputed Era, they have yet to return after being taken out by the Kings of NXT. Of course, that's Pat McAfee, Bertrand Lorcan, and Pete Dunne.
Is that what they're calling themselves? That's lame.
Oh, well, I mean, I want to call them the brand, but the Kings of NXT seem to be what they have been considering their name to be.
Yeah, I feel like the brand is already a brand that WWE can't monetize, so they're not going to touch that. I expect another tremendous promo cut by Pat McAfee. That's what I expect.
Yep. And you know what? I think it's time for the Undisputed Era to put the band back together and maybe go to war.
Oh, yeah, I could go for some of that. That sounds awesome to me.
Leon Ruff shocked the world and won the NXT North American Championship last week, and it was all thanks to the Gargano wheel. So, Tim, how do you think Johnny Gargano will get his title back?
I don't know, but immediately. Like, I don't expect Leon to hold on to that. I'm hoping they let him have it for a while and even defend it, perhaps. But yeah, I expect Johnny to get it back pretty quick.
Everyone you speak to, everyone you hear from, all praise Leon Ruff. Everyone wanted to work with him when he came in over the summertime, and now he's been signed. So obviously there is a lot of support behind Ruff, but we're going to have to find out. Did you notice, by the way, that Ruff's name was actually taped onto the wheel this past week?
I did notice that. It looked pretty conspicuous.
For those of you who don't know whose name was originally on that wheel, you can tune into Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring, and you can find out, because we talked about it there this past Thursday. And that's on YouTube.
That we did.
Speaking of which, on 205 Live this past Friday, Kurt Stallion actually won a #1 contendership match for the Cruiserweight Championship on the show's 205th show. 205 Live, 205th show. The match was a fatal 5-way, and thank God it wasn't a 200-man over the top rope battle royal match. So we're looking down the barrel of Kurt Stallion and Santos Escobar, but will it be on 205 Live, or will they bring it over to NXT? Tim, what would you do?
I would bring it over to NXT, try to increase viewership at 205 Live. make it seem like, oh, things can happen there sometimes.
It's a 25-minute show. Go and watch it. It's not hard.
I'm not.
It's actually pretty good. It's entertaining.
I don't even.
It is.
I don't even know who's Kurt Stallion. I'm excited to find out.
Kurt Stallion is one of the Evolve signees. He's also one of the few who actually kept his name coming from the indies going into WWE.
Cool.
Stallion is a great I don't give a damn attitude when he performs, and he's very fluid. He's very, very exciting to watch in the ring. Go check him out. If you know anything about Catchpoint and Evolve and Drew Gulak's stable, Matt Riddle was involved, then you'll get a good sense of who Kurt Stallion is.
Nice. I will check it out then.
Good. Let's move on to SmackDown, shall we?
Woo!
Ain't much to talk about. The only match that's been announced is Murphy taking on Seth Rollins after Murphy cost Seth Rollins the match on SmackDown versus Rey Mysterio, who then opened his arms to Murphy and brought him into the Mysterio clan. Murphy will now come out. No, not really. Just had to win a match, apparently. Murphy will now come out wearing nothing but Louis Vuitton. Now that he's a Mysterio. Murphy Mysterio.
Oh my God. Tacky.
Well, we also expected 2 more slots to be filled on the SmackDown Women's Survivor Series team. I'm expecting Tamina and Natalia. No one else to add, is there? Can you think of anyone else you can add? It won't be Zelina.
Oh yeah, not her
Sorry.
either. A couple of people. Oh, okay. Oh well.
Yep. Meanwhile, will Roman Reigns allow Jey Uso to participate in the SmackDown Survivor Series team after his loss to Drew? It was an unsanctioned match, but he didn't make the family look very strong, did he?
No, he did not. Ooh, that's a good angle. I didn't think of that. That's really
And-
good. He should say he says what goes. So
That's right.
makes
We'll see what the big dog has to say to his cousin on SmackDown. And finally, what will Bayley have to say after Carmella came out and had another week of sneak attacks on SmackDown Women's Champion and star of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus? Sasha Banks. Is this the restart of Baymella? Are you familiar with Baymella, Tim?
I am unfamiliar with Baymella. I'm also curious to see what Carmella has to say since she hasn't really said anything yet. So there's that. Couple of questions. What is
2 weeks
Baymella?
So first of all, go to Talking Smack 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Carmella spoke and didn't have much to say.
Well, then why would I go to Talking Smack 2 weeks ago?
You wanted to know what she sounds like now.
Never mind then. I just want to see her wrestle.
Baymella is a tag team of Bayley and Carmella. They were friends. They're still friends, but they were close friends in NXT. They had house show loops where they were a tag team and they would call themselves Baymella. And it was very popular for those who were NXT fans. So this could be an opportunity to create Baymella on a different scale because they're both bad guys now.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. That would be fun. I enjoy
There you
that.
go.
Bad name. Bad name.
Oh, bad names sometimes forge great legacies.
That's true. Quite true.
That's right. Nothing else to talk about this week for wrestling, is there?
No, that's a pretty full week. I still feel like it was pretty full. I'm excited to see what happens on Raw for once. So that's a good sign. NXT, I expect to see some more Dexter Lumis getting some vengeance on the hat.
Bring it on. I want more of the hat.
Yeah.
But I fear for his life now.
Yeah, he's gonna die.
Will this end in an eye for an eye match?
Maybe head for a head match.
Head for a head. Ooh. I guess we'll find out, shall we?
Yeah.
And you can find us, by the way, at Tim and Joel Pod all over social media or timandjoelpod.com, which will take you straight to our YouTube page where you can subscribe to us and you can watch us and you can follow along with us as we go live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Tim, where can the kids find you?
Kids can find me at Tim Stone P, TIMBSTONEP on Twitter.
And you can find me on all forms of social media at Joel Pearl. I'm pretty easy to find and I'm pretty easy to talk to. Until then, folks, enjoy your week and enjoy your wrestling.